When Aaron Gordon shuffled into this mid-range jumper, he boosted the Nuggets' lead over the Timberwolves to 10 points with just over 3 minutes left in this game, and from that point onwards, the Wolves, led by Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Anthony Edwards, and Rudy Gobert, pulled off an electrifying smash and grab win. There were so many big plays for the Wolves in those final minutes, so I thought it was worth just going over this whole end of game and really digging into what made the Wolves win this game. Right after that Gordon jumper, the Wolves begin the comeback with this. Edwards uses Randall's ball screen here to bring Aaron Gordon up on the switch, and Denver don't trust Gordon on Edwards, so now they're going to load up on him with Christian Braun in the gap and Westbrook trying to cheat off as the low man. So Alexander Walker is going to use that help and curl into the space between all of the loaded help defense. Ant drives into it to create even more space, and Alexander Walker can scoot past the closeout and nail that wing three. That kind of set the scene for Alexander Walker and his team at the end of this game. When they go down on the other end, he's fighting through ball screens like the pest that he is defensively, but when Jokic pump fakes and attacks here, look how he rockets into action and snatches the ball from Jokic while his back's turned. That shifts another empty possession for Denver into 2 free points at the charity stripe on the other side of the floor. After some soft free throws going the other way to Jokic, it's back to Alexander Walker initiating on offense, and again Minnesota are mismatch hunting. This time with Edwards coming up to set this ball screen so Ant can get Porter Jr. as his matchup, but I love how Gobert hits Brown with this flare screen so that Noor can curl off it into the corner, and Edwards finding that pass right away shows some serious growth in his clutch time offensive game. There were just lots of little things, almost unrecognizable things, that helped Minnesota win this game. One of them is Mike Conley jumping out on this screen, tagging Jokic, and then recovering back to allow Gobert time to get behind the screen and stay connected to Jokic. When Jokic gets into his work, Conley is sprinting into the double and forcing the turnover, and of course it's Alexander Walker capping off this possession with the steal. Again, it takes a lot of little things to win a tough game like this, and Alexander Walker sprinting into this ghost screen is the perfect way to force another switch and give Edwards time and space to pull up on the jumper and really make this a game. And now we're going back on defense, and this is the kind of thing the Wolves did last season that made them so tough to play against. Edwards showing gap help on Jokic here. He makes a smart pass out of the double before it comes, but 2 Wolves close out on the dangerous shooter in MPJ. It's awesome defense from Randall as well to hold low on Westbrook here, and then when the swing comes, he gets back out to Gordon to contest the shot. And even when Russ grabs that O-board, guess who's there to put the clamps on him and force another turnover? The next possession is Anthony Edwards swinging for that haymaker knockout and missing the pull-up 3, but the Wolves are always going to be a team who can win games on their defensive intensity late in games. So when it does flow back to the defensive side of the ball, I love that Randall takes the challenge of switching up onto the MVP and forces him into a tough fall away on the baseline. And yes, that offensive rebounding is an issue right now, but at least Conley is switched on to close out and not only prevent a 3, but force MPJ into Gobert. And I think it's a pretty good find from him in that position to Brown in the corner, but Ant getting there to slow him up and Randall rotating over to stifle him at the rim feels more like last season's Timberwolves. Now there's not too much to inspect on Ant's final game-sealing bucket. He's got MPJ on him, that's free eats for Ant. Jokic is stapled to the ground at the rim as usual, and Edwards finishes it off with a deft little floater. And the Wolves themselves finish this game off with one last fantastic defensive possession. Alexander Walker doubles Jokic on the catch and forces the ball out of his hands. Edwards is sharp on the closeout. Gobert angles off Jokic, and then he's coming off Jokic into Brown's path and forcing a miss at the rim. He nails 2 free throws off the rebound, and then sticks with Jokic on the final second prayer, and the Wolves escape this game with a win. Thanks again for watching Howls and Growls. Please subscribe for more.